and he was constantly questioning what it meant. He was never a guy who turned around and said, like so many of the people I believe are around, who say, I've got it, I got the system, come to me, I'll tell you what it is, and I'll lead you on this path. And so Bennett was there saying, well, what is it? Let's start again. What do you say?
And you were convinced that was more than just a rhetorical question.
Yes. Oh, yes. I really, really, really was. I really was. And because I was very involved in the end of his life, Sherborne, he would give these talks, and then I'd have to come along and do sessions explaining what he meant.
Right.
This kind of thing. And I'd worked with him on the Dramatic Universe and so on, and those sort of books. So I was sort of with him to some extent, and I saw he was getting more into his almost, maybe the leadings of it, almost Krishnamurti-like, in the sense he was sort of launched into an inquiry. I love this term, inquiry. It was like, you start with an empty table or something, and say, what's evident, And he'd ask these questions: what is the work? What is God? What is the world? And he got more and more into this realm of will. And then one time, one of his latest last stories, he said, being, what is being? Being is nothing, it's a ghost. So being was just thrown out of the window. And God is will. It seemed like God is will began to consolidate or open itself for him very, very, very much. And it changed everything. Well, there was all that which happened with him, and then, of course, him undertaking, it wasn't my virtual place at all, him undertaking the Sherborne experiment. And God knows what had happened to him to get to that point, because he almost died or went out of his mind in the 70s, and up to 1969-70, because he has this uric acid poisoning. And then Shah was being absolutely brutal and ruthless towards him, totally humiliating him. And there's something suddenly appeared to happen that he decided he was his own man at last and would venture and do this thing. But he always claimed that it's very interesting that the Sherborne experiment was a matter of his duty and not of his personal task. And there was why I castigate myself often after he died, because he said his personal task was to create a form of worship suitable for the modern age. And should have just sat him down and said, "What do you mean, Mr. Bennett? Who's told you this?" Because it's implied he had to direct instructions to do that.